Good morning, Anarchy Land. This is Tracy with Anarchy Land. Welcome if you're new. This is where we dare to ask who, what, where, when, why, and how, and see the BS in front of us and call it out. Alright, as you know, next month starts a whole bunch of memorials all across Europe. Well, should be happening. Apparently they're not going to be happening this year. But it's important that we remember what happened in World War II. And we're going to look at what is true evil. What was the most evil of the whole atrocity? Alright, so when you talk about who was the most evil during World War II, I'm going to share this with you. My late father, 10 years after Auschwitz had been closed, a whole decade had passed by, he was sent to clean it. And that stench of death stuck with him until 2002 when he died. He left this world remembering the smell of that chamber. There were people who lived around these camps. So this man smelt it a decade after it closed. Could still smell the death in that chamber. You know, the people who lived around that camp, Auschwitz, smelled something funny. You had to. I mean, there's no way you could not have smelled it. I'll take a quick drink here. Now, if that wasn't bad enough, there were governments across Europe who were so adamant that they did not want another war that they turned a blind eye to what he was doing. They did. They turned a blind eye. While Hitler was in prison, he wrote a book, Mein Kampf, which laid out what he was going to do. Made it very clear. You had Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister before him, Neville, I think it's Campbell, and then our very own beloved FDR. All three of them were anti-Semitic. Now, anti-Semitic did not start in Germany, okay? They weren't the creators of it. They just perfected it. Took it to a whole new rotten level. But I gotta wonder, at least they were upfront about what they thought, what they were going to do. At least they were honest about it. Whereas leaders of France, England, America, they just turned a blind eye and let it rip. They knew what was happening. I mean, how do you take a vacation or relocate when you got a yellow armband on you? The Star of David. Or Jehovah's Witnesses had to wear a purple triangle. There were no aliens abducting people. Well, in that era, not that I know of personally. So where were they going? The problem was nobody cared. Nobody outside of Germany cared until they had dissidents going missing. Gypsies or Roma You had the undesirables, the people who had handicaps. They also either got sterilized or put down, like an old nag, an old horse that's no more useful. All these horror shows were going on. Now, granted, they didn't really get cranked up until after the Olympics that was in Berlin. Now, here's a little tidbit of information I've come across is in Munich, the Communist Party of Munich got control of Munich for a while. Do you know who was protesting against Hitler in New York and everywhere? The communists. They were the only ones with the knowledge and the backbone to say no. Everybody else just went along to get along. Now let's look at the people who benefited. Now, I'm not really going to talk about League of Nations, now known as UN, because they're useless. I mean, they're completely useless. They're a waste of real estate. You had Swiss bankers who were selling Jews for pennies on the dollar. Sold them into slavery, knowing what was happening. Then you had companies like IBM, Coca-Cola with its Fanta Orange. Huge drink in Germany. You had Standard Oil, owned by the Rockefeller family. You had the Rothschilds banking family. They funded both sides. And why is this important? Because we are witnessing, my friends, this going on right now in Ukraine. Over the last month, there have been numerous clergymen of the Orthodox Ukrainian Church being arrested. There was one of the oldest churches in Kiev destroyed. One of the oldest monasteries have been seized and put under control of the Ukrainian Culture Department. Their reasoning is that these churches are spreading pro-Russia propaganda. They're not offering any proof, God forbid, because they don't have it. Now, I said Muslims because, let's face it, they don't like Muslims anymore than they like Christians. That's the way it is. Now, I'm going to ask you something. And you don't have to respond in the comment box. I don't care. But just something for self-reflecting. Will you be silent? Will you step back?